about, with quick rise, only about 30 to 45 minutes in a dark, warm area, and it should double in size. And as you can see, it has risen. So we know one thing, that we use the right temperature of the liquid. Too cold won't activate the yeast, and too warm will kill it, so it won't rise. So you're gonna take your fist, you're gonna punch it down, and that just helps reactivate the rising process again. Flip it over. Now we're gonna form our dough. Flour bowl. See how much I have left there? I have sprinkled some flour on the surface because what we're going to do now is braid our dough, and we do not want it to stick to the surface. One way you can test if you have good dough is you can move it around in the air, and gravity should pull it down quite nicely. Yeast doughs, when you roll out, will spring back. So doing the turn in the air does help gravity work for you and not against you. It's gonna help like kind of roll it out, hand toss it, if you will, a little bit, and then you lay it down. All right, now, what we want, at this point you can make pizza. So if you just want pizza, this will make a nice pizza shape, normal 10-inch pizza. Put whatever toppings you want on it, stick it in the oven for about 25 minutes at 400, and you have a great pizza. But we're going to elevate it just a little bit and make braided calzones. I do have my rolling pin out, and if my cameraman can make sure you get this, Kevin, it will be helpful. Now, you're gonna keep this as you can in an oval. All right? And we want like an even, consistent rolling out, you know, thickness, and not too thick. Now at school, we would have divided this into 4, and each person would have made an individual calzone, like a lunch size, personal size calzone. This will definitely feed a nice family of 4, lunch, or a very hungry person, a big, huge dinner. All right, we put our toppings on now. I'm gonna make pizza toppings. This calzone can be made with other toppings though. You can make a Reuben sandwich, you can make hot ham and cheese, you can make a Philly cheesesteak, you can do a vegetable with like Alfredo sauce. You can do fill it with whatever ingredients makes you happy. But whatever you do, make sure that it is cooked meat in here, no raw meat. So if you do sausage, it has to be cooked. If you do chicken and pineapple, the chicken already has to be cooked. Okay, so we're gonna put our marinara sauce in this. Now, I will upload a diagram as to how to fill this and how to cut this correctly. You want to leave edges about 2 inches free of ingredients, clean. So we're not going to put it directly to the edge here. And you can use pizza sauce. I'm using marinara. You could probably use spaghetti sauce if that's all you have in the kitchen. That'd be just fine. All right. Then we put our toppings. Cheese goes on last, so it's kind of like upside down pizza. I'm just gonna use pepperoni, and we're just gonna stack our pepperoni here. I kind of am. I stuff it with pepperoni a lot more than on a pizza. What else would go good? If you are doing anything from a jar, banana peppers, make sure they're dried off. Mushrooms from a jar, make sure they're dried off. Olives from a jar, you don't want it to be real, it'll soak through and make the crust soggy. All right, so like I said, I am pretty generous with the pepperoni and pretty generous with the cheese. Now you want to take your cheese in handfuls and kind of lay it straight in the center here. My cheese was frozen, so it's a little bit cold still. And we'll just do a little bit more here, just a little bit more. When you're almost done, you think just a little bit more. Okay, now I teach this like a clock. So if this is your 12 o'clock, then this is your 6, and this is your 3, and this is your 9, okay? We're gonna make cuts in specific places around the clock in order to make our braided calzone. So you wanna do it at 1 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7, and 11, okay? And then you wanna leave the bottom and the top just the way they are, and you wanna make your strips for braiding about 1 inch or so apart. Oh my goodness, someone's calling on the phone. Oh no. Okay. Now. Let me start over here. You can stop. I'll just re-wash my hands and we'll get started again. Okay, this is pretty important. So you're going to take the top down and the bottom up, okay? And then you're going to pull, because you have a nice stretchy dough, and kind of twist these sides together here. Okay, see? And I always think of like a little baby diapering, I don't know why. And then the strips are for braiding, and you're gonna go alternate side to side. But when we alternate, we're gonna put the ends of our strips inside the dough. So it looks like a, kind of like a braided up football, not laying on the outside. If they're not tucked in, they're gonna burst open in the baking. So they're fragile, you have to be kind of forceful, but yet gentle. So you pull the tab over and you allow it to be stuck in. Now, when I braid from the top down. It looks like from the bottom up on your end, but really you want to braid from the top down. It's a lot easier. And it's just alternate and then stick that end inside the dough there. And this is going to look impressive. It's something that I always tell my students to make for a date. You can make it for a special occasion, your parents. It does look very impressive. When you get to the end and you don't know what to do at the end, you just tuck it behind. And then you can reform it, I guess, not format, but reform it. Now, you hope that you can transfer it now onto your baking dish, your baking tray. I like to use parchment. I also like to season the crust. So this has your cornmeal and your oregano, and you just want to take cornmeal and oregano. If you don't have the cornmeal's for a little bit of texture. But if you don't have the cornmeal, you can just use oregano. Don't over season the crust. The crust is just like a supporting actor. You want the pizza loaf to be the lead actor. So you don't want to go crazy with this, but a little bit of oregano and cornmeal gives it just a little bit of texture, a little bit of added flavor, layers of flavor. And then we're gonna lift this up and set that right on there. And the last thing we want to do is take a beaten egg, okay, and your pastry brush, and we're going to make, if we bake it like this, it's going to come out looking dry. and unappetizing. So we want to shine it up. The egg will bring it color and it will bring it shine. So it'll take all the dry flour away. Now you don't want scrambled eggs on here or anything. You just want a nice thin wash painted over. So just to give you an idea, in class I would give you 1 egg and your whole group would have enough to paint all 4 of your calzones. Okay. Now, if you wanted to make a couple calzones out of this, if like you couldn't agree on ingredients, you can definitely make a couple calzones with this dough with no problem. Now, this bakes at a 400 degrees for 25 minutes. And that's it. Braided calzone. We'll see what it looks like when it comes out. Thank you.